Three topics are here on this agenda. And with that, I would like to introduce that our presenters this evening are District Treasurer Jacqueline Hull and District Finance Chair Gordon Dalgleish. And before we start in, we want to do a couple of quick polls, and I'll put up on screen. As first is about the size of your club. So just those who are representing their clubs, if they could respond. I think that's about it. So you can see it's a good mix of size of clubs. And now we want to do the second poll about your level of experience in the financial management field.
Hi, this is Kathy and Kathy Riches. I'm sorry, I'm not able to respond to any of these things. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
Are you on a tablet, Kathy?
Sorry?
Are you on a tablet?
I'm on my iPhone.
Yeah, sometimes the iPhone and tablets have problems.
Okay. Well, it's just a guide. It's nothing.
Okay,
not
so I
tracking.
don't want to be disrespectful by not responding.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, we don't know whether you did. So anyway, that's okay. So there's a good range of experience level. So with that, I would hand it over to Gord.
Thanks very much, Peter. Well, as I've said, I'm the District Finance Chair. I've been on the Finance Committee for the 4 years that Ken ran it. And for the last 3 years, I've been the District Chair of the Finance Committee. It's been great fun. We've done a lot of good stuff, and I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff still to come. I always say that I'm not a finance expert or a professional by any manner of means, which is why we have got a subject matter expert with us this evening. And there's no one better than Jacqueline to do that job. She's not only a district treasurer, but she's been club treasurer for many years down in Richmond. So she knows both sides of it. And she also runs her own accountancy practice. So she's well versed to help out in any of the questions that any of you have. So as I think is said at most of these things, there is no stupid questions. So if you have a question to ask and say, oh, I'll look stupid asking that, don't worry. I look stupid most of the times I'm asking questions. So you just go ahead and ask that question. If we think it's really stupid and out of court, we'll tell you. Anyway, enjoy this evening. I'm going to hand over now to our first subject. We're dealing with 3 subjects this evening. And these are the top 3 that came out of a survey that Peter put out a month or so ago. And the first one on the plan was budget development. That's something that a large number of people wanted to discuss. The other thing to remember about this session, it's not a chalk and talk. So it's not head and shoulders lecturing to you. It's a forum where we exchange ideas. We will lead with questions and answers, or Jacqueline will, but do feel free to be part of a discussion. And if you have a view that you think is relevant in one of the questions, just shout out and use the hand symbol from the bottom of your screen to do that. So you've all introduced yourselves now. We can see who you all are, and you've all got in your clubs, which is great. Margaret, which club is it you're from?
Oh, Terraskina Valley.
Ah, Terrace, really good. Northern showing then. That's good to see. Good, thanks and welcome. So welcome everyone. So budget development's the first one. We'll then move on to cybersecurity and to cloud accounting, because these are the top three, and they're interesting sessions, let me tell you. So budget development. Let's have a word or two about that from Jacqueline. The thing I would say about budget development is that try and be as timely as possible. Ideally, we should try and have a draft budget in time for pets, because things will come up at pets that have an impact on your finances in the club. So if you can at least have a draft budget, doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but a draft budget with specifically the focuses that you want to look at or that your club wants to look at in the following year, that certainly helps direct things. So I'm going to move over to our subject matter expert, or SME, Jacqueline, who's going to take you through some more aspects. And as I say, any questions that you have about the topic, please just raise your hand and Peter will bring you in. Thanks. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Thanks, Gord, and thank you, Peter. Thanks, Gord, for your introduction. And this is my pleasure to be a district treasurer. And I'm very new to presenting this to someone. So just bear with me if you have any questions or I'm not doing well. So just some introduction, a short introduction about myself. I'm a district treasurer. This is my 4th year with the district. I was a club treasurer for 4 years, and I'm supposed to be having a new treasurer for this year, but she's been too busy. She hasn't been have a chance to do anything. So I've been stepping in as the treasurer again for this year for my club. So it's my 5th year with the club as a treasurer. So there's a lot to learn. When I first started. So I know the journey, and I know how hard it is, because Rotary is a large organization. So a lot of the stuff, and it is a non-profit, it's not a corporation that we know when we are working. So a lot of the terminology and the logic is a little bit different from our profit organization. So I am a CPA, Chartered Professional Accountant, same as Lauren by profession, and I have a small firm, accounting firm. So I just want to set some expectation here. This is a forum for sharing experience and discussion and discussing any topics. So as God said, there's no stupid questions, and we may not have all the answers right now, or I may not have all the answers while we are discussing, but we'll follow it up after the forum, or we will have more discussion on our Saturday forum if you are available and you can come and join us. So because I see that there are 13 participants, I'm going to share the screen when I'm going through it. So if Peter can let me know, because I couldn't see everyone if someone raised their hand or whatever. So if Peter let me know if there is someone show hands up, and then just let me know, then I will answer any question at that time. So if everyone is ready, I can start the presentation. Okay, so first of all, as Gord just mentioned and Peter just mentioned, there are 3 topics. So before we dive into these 3 topics, I want to give a quick overview of what a role of club treasurer is. So I would like to show you where you can find that information, and that is in the club runner, or actually is in the RI Rotary, in the RI website. I'm going to share my screen now. So here, if you go to the RI website under the learning and reference here, and then learn by role. And here you see here the club roles. Here is one for treasurer. As you can see, it tells you a very high level but you can dive into this link. So they will tell you what you do and how to prepare and some resources. I found this page very useful. So I would just like to go through quickly. When you are a treasurer, what are you expecting? What are you expected to do? So you are expected to manage club funds, collect and submit dues and fees. Collect means collect your club dues. Submit means submit the district dues. Has to be on time. Because I'm a treasurer, a district treasurer, I know it's sometimes hard to get people to submit the dues. So please, if you are a club treasurer, please take care of that whenever you are available. And you report your your club's financials, and you also work with the Rotary Foundation, the TRF, and you have to pay your club due, club invoice. This was mostly the invoices that with your projects or with the Rotary International. And then is that how to prepare. You can prepare because there are lots of information that you can learn. And there is another one called in the Learning Center. So you can learn that from, there are quite a number of different videos you can learn from there. And then you're working with an outgoing treasurer to ensure a smooth transition. I think that is very important. If you can do your scheduling before you hit July 1st. This is very, very important and very helpful because I'm going to be the president-elect. I'm president-elect. I'm going to be the president in the coming July. My treasurer for the next term has already told me he wants to start scheduling me and wants to know how to get things done. I'm so happy that he is so enthusiastic. So, and the other way to do it is attend district training assembly because there are lots of information there. Besides being a treasurer, you also learn other section of in the club and that is very important too. And here under the resources, you see there is a budget worksheet. I just click on it quickly to show you what that is. And we will dive in more when we talk about the budgeting. It's slowly coming. So as you can see, this is a template from Rotary International. It's a simple one, but it's very effective. So I just want to show you this, and we will go into it a little bit detail later.
Jacqueline, Kathy has a question.
Oh yeah, hi Kathy.
Hey, Jacqueline. I'm kind of a newcomer to this role. I'm kind of an interim treasurer because the two treasurers that are involved in our club are off to Mexico for about 5 or 6 months. And one of the things I'm asking about, which I didn't feel comfortable taking on this role, was I'm a CGA, so there was no audit done at the point of handover. Is that customary? Is that required? Or what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think on the club level, the audit is not required. No, it's not required on the club level. So if you say, how to say it, you have, I don't know about the history of your club, I can't make any comment, but because we always buy our 4-way test. So they should be doing, as a treasurer, I'm sure they should be doing it by according to the 4-way test, and they should be doing it the way it should be. So I'm so glad that you are CGA, you are there. And so you just go and have a look at the books. So usually I'm in public practice. What we usually do is check the bank statement. Make sure every item on the bank statement are identified. Ask him or ask people, not just him, because there should be a history of receipts and expenses and invoices. So just check. It's just like an audit for yourself. You do audit or review, just check randomly at some large items and see if that is good with your bank. Mhm. Okay, Gord.
Can I just mention that there is no requirement to do an audit? And remember, an audit costs money, whereas a financial review or an accounting review can be much cheaper. I would recommend that someone does do an accountant review at the end of the year. It's not essential, but do check your bylaws, because your bylaws may specify that you have to do either a financial review or an audit, which is the case in the district, for example. We have wording that says you must do a financial review every year. And it's no bad thing to do, especially with a medium to large club.
Yeah, thanks, God. Yes, check your bylaw to see if this is required. So like for our club, as I just mentioned about the new treasurer, what he talked to me the first thing is there an audit or review? And I told him, is this required? So require internally, what that means is. So if he is the treasurer, so someone, maybe a co-treasurer or a vice president of the club, or the president of the club, should be doing a review like every quarter, something like that, to make sure. And also the bank statement is very important too. So make sure it ties to the bank statement, the amount, and also the name of the one that you are sending the check to, because nowadays the bank statements are very good. They have copy of the checks. So you can see actually who is the payee and who received the money. So usually this is a good way to make sure that the money goes out correctly to the right vendor.
Okay, so where I'm not comfortable is I took over for the treasurers have gone on leave, and I have no visibility of the past expenses, and I don't have signing authority or visibility of the accounts as they are today. So I took over on October 13th. I have created a spreadsheet that has shown all the incoming revenue and expenses. From that point in time, I have no visibility, nor do I want to have responsibility for the prior expenses from the accounts as of that date.
Yes, totally agree. You have no responsibility for anything before you take over. But then
I just don't want the liability, I guess, Jacqueline, is what I'm saying.
Yes, so the liability, because the D&O insurance is being covered there, so it would not be the liability of you for anything that's not being done by you. The loss is not being done by you, and besides, it's being covered by the insurance. So it would be something like when we are in public practice, just like there is a client, whether we want to take on the client or not. If we don't feel comfortable, there are not much choices you can take. You either take the client or not taking the client. So if you are not comfortable, tell the board that you are not comfortable, and you could and just like as you said, you don't have information about the banks. But nowadays, if you are a treasurer, you should be having the signing authority, and you should have access to all your bank statements, whether it's online or copies of it. If you wouldn't find any actual copies, you can go to the bank, or someone has the signing authority at the moment, going to the bank and talk to them and get all the copies of this all the copies of the bank statements, maybe the last year or 2 years. Okay, yeah, so Gord.
I would suggest you get with your board and decide what you want to do about signing authority, because you should have 2 people signing for any expense. As far as you being a signee on bank accounts, there's 2 views on this. One says, I don't want to be a signing authority because I want to be arm's length, and that's perfectly valid. Or you may have a couple of people in the club who are nominated to be signing authorities. But I would suggest you get the signing authority sorted out, and particularly your access to the bank accounts, because you must have visibility of what's going in and out.
Yeah, so, okay, Margaret.
Need to unmute. Kathy, I feel for you. The same thing happened to me, and I am not an accountant. I'm a retired physiotherapist. And I had to go back 5 years with the bank statements and pull out the budgets and figure out where things were and how the accounts were set up. And I just went to the board and said, I need help to do this, firstly, because I'm not an accountant, but secondly, it shouldn't just be solely your responsibility to ensure that historical record is there to use. And now we've got a process of backing it up, and the president always has a copy of it. And we can go back 30 years now in terms of knowing what's happened with the accounts.
It's important to do that. You're quite right, Margaret and Kathy. My club had the same problem. It took us 2 years to get back on stream because a previous treasurer had just put all the checks he'd received that year in a drawer and not posted any of them. So we were wondering where the heck all our money was. And it took us 2 years to get back into the good graces of CRA because of the foundation account we have. So it's no light thing. And it's something that you have to tackle. And it's not a happy and not a pleasant thing, and it's not a short-term thing. So I'm glad to see that you've kind of got a grip on that now, Margaret. That is excellent. Jacqueline.
Okay, great. So we may, because the time is already 7:23, so maybe I just go through it quickly for what I want to show it here, and then we can, because we can leave, we can stay behind after 8 o'clock for another half an hour, and we can discuss that more. So this is where I want to show you in the Rotary.org webpage. You can have a lot of information here. So one thing I want to show you is very interesting. I found that is check our discussion group. So in the discussion group here, you can type in your treasurer role or your role. So I just do that, type treasurer, and then do search, and it will come up with a list of items. And here is the treasurer role tips, tool resources. So I click on it, and then it will come, it will let you see there are some posts here. So the first one is about electronic ticket sales for fundraisings and for instance, fundraising event. So I find it very interesting. So I just want to show you here that there are some way that we can connect with our treasurer, with the other organizations, with the other clubs, and see what they have already posted here. So balance sheet, income statement, cash flow, QuickBook, billing dues for resign members. So all these club treasurer responsibilities, these we can go and have a look at it. And the other thing I want to show is how to get to the support, the Rotary support from the club, from Rotary International. So under this treasurer tab, and at the end is that Rotary support. You have the club and district support representative here. And here, so you type in your district 5040. And here are 2 people that we can send email to. And Sophie is usually the one that I talk to you. And they are pretty quick in answering your questions. So this is just something that a treasurer role, a treasurer would go to and have some resources for you to look at. So now let's look at a budget development. So what is a budget? A budget is a key component of a financial sustainability. Is the commitment of board and financial management, and that includes timely overview of financial report and advance planning. The budget, one way of the board plans for income and expense in the future is by creating a budget. Approval of annual, let me stop here. Sure, hi, I can see you guys now. So approval of annual budget is one of the fundamental building blocks of sound financial management of the club. So example, our club, we have a budget, our club is Richmond Club. We have a budget every year, and the budget is developed during the April and May and will be approved by the members in June during the General Assembly. And that is before the start of the new fiscal year. The approved budget then serves as a guide for financial activities in the months ahead. A budget is a guide that can help the club plan for future and assess in current financial health. So some smaller organizations make changes to the budget to reflect changes of financial position during the year and keep track based on the revised budget. But for larger organizations, they tend to have another approach. Something is called the financial forecast. So the District 5040 uses the financial forecast to compare the year-to-date actual expenses to estimate the potential surplus or deficits for the fiscal year. The forecast is updated based on the based on the latest information and changes. Sometimes that was anticipated, something that wasn't anticipated when the budget is prepared. So when situation has changed, making update in the forecast as you go along, give you a more accurate financial picture on the financial surplus or the deficit at the end of the fiscal year. So it's a good practice to periodically review the budget and forecast, as well as compare it to the actual cash flow and expenses to determine whether they are playing out as expected during the course of the year. So one of the most valuable results of understanding the true cost is the ability to make wise choices about how to support mission critical work. On the project side, knowing the real cost of each project allows us to make informed decisions and choices that will lead to mission and financial success. So here is an overview of the process. First of all, determine the timeline. Set target date for board approval. Allow time for each step and for review and discussion. Approve before beginning of the fiscal year. And also we have to make it agree to our goals. So what that means is prioritize the goals, clarify annual goals from the strategic plan, set the financial goals. And to work on the budget, we need to take reference from the current year. So then you will have to review the current year income and expense compared to the budget, and then forecast it to the end of the year. Analyze and understand any variances, and then use the updated estimate to build the budget for the next fiscal year. And then now you can assign roles and responsibilities for the different people that is responsible for the budget, and agree on their authority to make decision on preparing the budget, and agree on how uncertainty can be included in when they are planning for the budget. So first of all, we used to do it, it's the easiest thing is to determine the cost. How much are we going to expense in order to reach our goal, and also the goal set as the strategic plan, and determine the cost of reaching the club's overall goals. And then you developed a draft income budget, project income based on the current membership, fundraising activities, and any revenue from there, and project new income based on new activities, because some clubs like ours, we have new activities every year. So the past budget or the past information, the income statement of the current year is for reference only, but this would be a very good reference for future. So then we review the draft budget, verify that the draft meets the projects and the organizational goals, and review and discuss all the assumptions with your board members and make adjustment and based on the goals and activities to match income and expenses. So because we are,
Sure.
yes, sure.
Jacqueline, Kathy has her hand up.
Kathy?
I'm sorry, I'm new at this, so apologize for any stupid questions. Who raises the goals, Jacqueline?
The goal,
Whose responsibility is that?
who is, so first of all, the responsibility will fall with the board of the club. So the chair, but it will be the board of the club who is responsible for setting the goal. The goal is the strategic plan. The goal is set up in your strategic plan. Hi, Gord.
Yeah, that's the point I wanted to make. You mentioned the two magic words, strategic plan. The budget is not the strategic plan. The strategic plan incorporates the budget, and the budget will support strategic plan, but you got to have a strategic plan first. So if your club does not have a strategic plan, and I mean a current one that's no less than a year old, then that's one of the things you should certainly ask your board to look at doing, because it's fundamental. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. Lauren, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Lauren?
Yeah, Jacqueline, one of the things I think we need to express is that it really depends on the complexity of the club and the types of activities you're doing. If you're doing gaming funds, as an example, you have to have a separate and distinct bank account with separate and distinct reporting. If you have a society or a foundation like Gord's, you need to have separate recordings and accountings. This is the operating budgets of the clubs, which is really based around dues and a few fundraisers that you may have to do to accommodate. I always believe that you have to have a dues philosophy so that you set the appropriate level of dues, that you're not overcharging and not undercharging Rotarians for your work.
Yeah, thank you, Gordon. Thank you, Lauren, for your comment. Yes, so as I always, because our club also has a foundation. When I was talking to the foundation president, all I'm talking about here, I'm sorry, is I have to have said about it, is about the club. So foundation is total a separate entity. So if I know that people, I heard that people want to talk about that. So that will be a separate section for that. That is much, much more complicated, as Lauren just mentioned, and a lot of things have to follow. So for, and also the gaming fund is only with the foundation. So our club, I don't think it's very hard to get some support from the gaming fund, and it has to be in a separate bank account if we receive the fund, and all the expenses have to come out from the same bank account if it's related to the gaming funding. Thank you. So I'm going to continue about the budget. So now we were talking about, we set all the draft about the income, about the expenses. So now we have to take care of our organization goals, the club goals, and we will have to review and discuss all the assumptions before we finalize it. Make adjustment as you go along, and then review the final draft for all goals and objectives. And then after you do that, it's not going to be a one-person thing. So it will be the whole board has to give input on this one. And then after the board seems like, oh, okay, that looks good, because you also invited the committee to give you some information. You also have to present it to, have to present to the committee, and then if they are good with that, you go back to the board, and the board make a final approval of the budget. And after all that, you create a consolidated budget spreadsheet and write down all your assumptions. And then you will, when the new fiscal year comes in, you assign management responsibility and start working according to the budget. And now here, I want to share my screen and show you.
Gord has his hand up,
Okay.
Jacqueline.
Yeah,
I just
sure.
mention one thing. Using the reaction button at the bottom, can you just give a thumbs up if you consider you have a current strategic plan? Just give us a thumbs up.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. From what I can see, there's quite a few.
There's a
do not
thumbs
consider.
down.
Do not consider. Oh, someone got a thumbs down. Hey. Okay, well, I think that I don't need to comment on that. I think that tells a story. If you don't have a strategic plan, then how do you budget to achieve whatever you want to achieve? So have a think about that and bring it up, please, at the board.
Yeah,
Sorry,
thanks for, yeah. If you don't have a strategic plan, it's very difficult to plan for your budget because
Absolutely.
you don't know how much money, you don't know where to allocate your money actually.
Yep.
So the same as you did the year before. So I would like to share with you my screen about the budget. This is based on the budget from the Rotary.org's budget. So this is the original format. I didn't change a lot, but I put in a new column called assumption. So the one highlighted in yellow, as you see, is from last year. Budget income last year, actual income last year, amount under or over from last year. So it's amount is actual with the budget. So you see the variance here. And then you will, based on this, you estimate the income for this year is actually the next year because we are doing the budget a year, several months ahead, a couple months ahead. So this is how I would say so. So for the budget, basically there are two large items from the income. One is operations and one is charitable. And for the expenses, there are the operations and also the charitable one. The charitable means all your projects that you deliver, the service project, and the operations is the expenses that you need to run your clubs. So here I just quickly go through the line items here. This is very basic. And for a smaller club, this is a very good start. For a larger club, you may want to, if you have more income, you can just add in lines, and then you can just put whatever income you get from there, and same as for expenses as well. So basically for the clubs, we have membership dues, some income from visitors. I guess this is like our club. We have a lunch meeting, so we have money from the lunch we receive from our members and also from visitors. So maybe here is that, and also from other income. Don't know what that, couldn't think about it. So donations from the club, here is the charitable. So donation from the club, you put it here, club fundraisers and other income. So the top section is the income, and then it will calculate, as you see, there are formulas for this spreadsheet. It's already there. So you just need to plug in the numbers, and then it will calculate at this line. Same as the expenses. So basically for operation, under operation, we have some badges, we have postage and post box that most of us have post box, and stationaries and any website hosting charges, so like club runner, if you have rent or miscellaneous supplies. And here it says we have district dues. That's really nice, as a separate line item here for district dues. And also we have expenses that we have to pay RI. So it's all item in here. So it may, I would say, it probably, this is just a simple version of it. So you can expand it whichever way you like. when you need to itemize, you want to see that item, so you would just expand it. So meeting expenses is for the club, you have speaker gifts and club meeting charges and things like that. And committee expenses, we have different committees. The biggest one is the membership, public, the PR, and also some service project. And TRF, we have to do it every year in our club. And other miscellaneous charges like bank charges, things like that. And under the charitable donation, yeah, excuse me.
Jacqueline,
Yeah.
just for the sake of time, we've got two other subjects. Do you manage to get in the next 20 minutes both of those?
Yeah, okay. So I'm just going through easy, quickly on this one. Yeah, it is done. So if any one of you want any information in here that I'm presenting for this time, just let me know and I will send it over to you by email. So Kathy, what is your question?
Okay, so I'm also the fundraiser club member, the chair or whatever they want to call me. One of the difficulties we have is getting funds from sponsors because we are not a registered charity. They could realize the income tax deductions, as you know, Jacqueline, if we were. So I've discussed this with our club. There seems to be some, they've reviewed it in the past and I'm new to all this. So being, from my past experience, I'm kind of saying, hey, we need to become a registered charity so that these people that are sponsoring us for these events to raise funds, they can use it as an income tax deduction. And I've done the research on all of this, and it's quite a valid deduction for them as a business, as small business owners within our community. But there seems to be some reluctance to be able to establish a registration with the CRA to be recognized as a charitable deduction. I raise this because I think we could raise more funds for the Rotary if we were to be that.
Yes, Kathy, I agree with you. So for the time being, we are working on the budget. If you don't mind, you can stay after 8 o'clock, and then we can discuss further on this one, because as I understand, Shirley Pat also talked about that in the past. We may, because in the clubs, there are experts on this one. We will have them to come and give us a forum or something like that, similar to this one.
I apologize. Sorry, I didn't mean to intrude.
You're not
Hi,
intruding,
Bart.
Kathy. This is a forum for you, not for us. It's for you. So the question you're asking is perfectly valid. And a lot of clubs are asking that question. So just briefly, to get registered, there's a bit of work, there's a bit of paperwork, and there's regular annual reports and paperwork required. So bear in mind, there's a little bit of work to get that done. And to get it done, you need someone who really knows what they're doing. And we can help you and find the right person at district level. So Jackie can help with that. If you wish to do the CRA thing, fine. If the club agrees to do that, it can be done, and it's a good idea. However, it's entirely up to the club.
Yeah, there are a different reporting system, and then, as I've just mentioned, it's a totally separate entity, so it's not under this club financials.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So great. Thank you, Gord, and thank you, Kathy, for your question. I would like to stop sharing for now, and then we can go to the next subject. It's about cybersecurity. So I would like to quickly go through this with you. And cybersecurity is very important nowadays. Excuse me, not this one. It's very important nowadays because, yeah, you just don't know when you will be the next victim. it's very easy to be a victim nowadays. So here is a bit of something that I got from the LinkedIn, and these information are very helpful, and I'd like to go through it quickly with you. Let me get it a little bit smaller, but okay. So cybersecurity, there are lots of things that you need to know about. So update your software is the most important. You always have to do that. And the other shortcut to how to secure your file is save your information in the cloud. So like, how to say, those Microsoft and also Google and all that, if you save your information to the cloud, they are always be scanned, and it is and it's safe, and you won't lose it, because they have lots, they spend million or billion of dollars in keeping track of everything. So it's a very secure way to put your file up there. And also for us, we will share information in the cloud instead of doing email nowadays. And you also have to use the password for all your laptops, tablet, and smartphone. Don't skip this exercise. This is very important. So here it says the cloud storage is the solution. And I don't know whether you know notice about it nowadays, when I, as being an accountant, when I go to CRA, to our online software bookkeeping accounting system, they always have a multi-factor of authentication requirement. So they, even though you log on, they won't let you have access to the account right away. They will send it to your cell phone. So I was just saying to people, if I lost my cell phone, I can take vacation, because I can't do anything. Even I couldn't log on to CRA or anything. Yes, but they have alternatives. You can change it to, instead of sending the code to your cell phone, they can send it to your email address. But then you probably have to call them and tell them that there is a change. Otherwise, I will have a vacation time. So the other thing is secure your router. Everyone is doing your Wi-Fi now. So securing your router is very important. So use at least the WPA second encryption. It is just an acronym, and as I understand, most of the router will have that feature. And here, just want to say that you need at least 12 characters password. People thinking, oh yeah, this is a very difficult, but yeah, a password that a mix of numbers, symbols, and capital letters and lowercase. So sometimes people said you use something that only you understand. You can use word, like the ship is swimming in the ocean. So people may not guess, but this is your password. Your password is more than 12 characters long. So yeah, something like that. And also don't share them on the phone, in the text, or by email, because a lot of the time when I ask people for a password, oh, I WhatsApp you. I send you by text messaging. I send you by email. No, don't do that. So I got clients, they would never do that. They would, even though I asked them for the SIN number, they said they will call me and give me the SIN number over the phone. They will not send it to me by email or by text or whatever. And then, so how do you protect your data on your device? So just mention a complex password, multi-factor authentication, and limited login attempts, and encrypt the information. So the other thing is, always remember to shred your document. Don't just throw your bank statement or Visa statement away. Anyway, anything with your account number or your address, you have to shred them. And also, some people just don't know. I have an old laptop. I have an old cell phone. I just throw it away. No, don't ever do that, because there are lots of information there. So sometimes you see the delete button. You say you delete everything. No, there are sophisticated people there. They can recover everything from your laptop or a cell phone. So never do that. And ransomware. What is a ransomware attack? They always ask for money or cryptocurrency. I think you heard about that over the news all the time. So how it happened? So is this a scam email? There is a link or attachment. They ask you to click on it, or you go to a website. That website is being infected, and you click on the link, and then you got problems. So, and there are also online ads. They said in something in the in a flyer, there's a good deal. Ask you to click on it. Make sure that is a legitimate website. Otherwise, you will get hooked again. We will get hooked. So here is how you protect yourself, back up your data to a drive or USB that is not connected to your network, so that this is a real backup. And if people hack to your computer, they will not have access to that. And also, whenever you are asked to install the latest patches or updates, do that immediately, because the reason why there is a patches and updates, because they are fighting with, they are trying to be as quick as the scammers. So when it happens to your computer, first of all, disconnect the infected computer and device from the network right away. So unplug your Wi-Fi or anything, just disconnect it right away. And before you do anything, don't try to do that and search for what do you call it, a solution online using your same computer. Phishing, so this is very common these days. So if they ask you to click on the link and ask you to update your bank account information or your account information, or it looks like there is an email from someone that you know, or from your boss or your of your president. So you click on the link and then it will have problems. So it can be very sophisticated. They can mimic the logo, and they can pretend the email is from someone that you know. So it's very careful when you are clicking links. So when if you have problems, so just call the phone number from the website, because a lot of the time they have the phone number on the email. Don't ever call that number if you are suspicious there is something wrong, because that number will connect you to the scammer right away. And then how do you protect your business, or how to protect your club's information or your personal information? You always have to back up and not connected to the network. And also change, if you suspicious that you already get hacked, then you have to report it, and I will tell you where to report it later. And spoofing is the same thing. They want you to give them money. So again, when you install the latest patches and update, and the updates, you can, how do you call it, schedule your updates from the computer. Just do it at night when you are sleeping. That won't affect you. Oh, the other scam is tech support. If someone call you and saying that they need, they found a problem with your computer and and then ask you to give them access to their computer. And never do that if this is not being expected. If you don't have a problem with someone give you a call like that, never answer it. Because when they get into your computer, first of all, they can install malware. And they can, after that, they probably would like to sell you, to sell you the software or the repair service, and or sell you their maintenance package and things like that. And the other thing is, before they can do it to help you, they need your credit card information. So what that means is they get your credit card information. Your credit card is being compromised then. So if you are really having a problem with your computer, go to the website and then look for the phone number to call. It's not just talking to the person. Cyber security, cyber insurance. As you know, the district has cyber insurance. Yeah.
Jacqueline, Kathy has a question.
Oh, Kathy, hi.
I'm sorry, I'm being annoying.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry,
learning.
sorry.
This is great. I'm learning so much. Okay, we've got the squares to transact financial stuff with Interact or e-transfers. We don't have the squares for the tap. Everybody's asking about that. They want to use their MasterCards and their Visas. Is that promoted by you folks?
That's okay because our club is using Square as well. But when you use Square, don't use the Wi-Fi. Use your cell phone.
Okay,
Because
but
when you use Wi-Fi, that may be hacked. You know, because with open Wi-Fi, so many people working on it, and there are hackers there.
okay, so I've got squares, but they don't have the tap ability. Is that being promoted by you folks?
I don't think. I think it's up to you how you set it up. For us, the tap capacity is I think is available for all the Square.
No, for our club, it's not, but I would promote it because we've got a lot of MasterCard and Visa transactions wanting to occur, but I'm not able to do that.
You know, Square is quite powerful. How you do it, you can tap your credit card. If it's over $200 something or 250, depending on how you set it up, you may have to add. People have to put in their card and punch in their password in order to get the transaction. You can
Okay.
people can also call you. That's what I usually receive call for. They can also call you, give you your credit card information, and then you punch in the numbers and then get it done by they can.
I think we need updated squares then. So it enables us to do credit card transactions.
Okay, maybe it's very cheap now. If you buy a new one, it's only $60 or $70 for one square. So you may look into it. Sometimes it's Black Friday, right? So try to look up Staples and things like that. You may find it a good deal.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. And also insurance. I'm not talking about cyber insurance. The district has the insurance that cover cyber insurance, but there is a deductible of $2,500. So if you want more information, I can send it over to you about that. And also in the district website, you can find all those information about cyber insurance as well. So email authentication, mostly we have touched on already. Okay, so I would like to tell you, if you would like to report, if let's say you got scammed and you want to report it, where do you report it? So here is, I can share the screen again. Here is where you can report it. Cybersecurity guidance. So here is from the government website, a company called or organization called Canadian Center for Cybersecurity. So they want you, if you have anything you got hacked or you have anything that you are suspicious about, you can go to this website, and here is a link for a report cyber incident. So you can report it as an individual. Yeah.
One thing you should remember, yes, we do have insurance, and that's a good thing, and that's district-wide as part of our policy. However, an insurance company will expect you to have done some due diligence when you're doing e-transfers or anything like that. So it's not a be-all and end-all having insurance. They will expect you to take care when you're doing these transactions. So it's not just automatic; they'll repay you for anything that goes wrong.
Thank you, Gord, for this supplementary information. So here is the information that if you want to report that, and I think everyone should be reporting that, just like crime. This is actually a crime. So just do your part. If you are being hacked or you are a victim, report it to the government. So that's 8:02 now. So can I have 5 minutes to go through the cloud accounting quickly so that, is that okay? Any objection? Peter?
Sure. Oh, sure. If everyone else wants to stay on, that would be grand.
Yeah, okay, sure. So the cloud accounting now we're talking about, there are different ways to do bookkeeping for the clubs. In the past, we have Excel spreadsheet. We do Excel spreadsheet like this. This is the one that I did with did it for Ryla. So it's a very simple one. So you have, it's just like a bank statement. You put everything in on one side. You have the revenue, different type of revenue. It's actually, when I was doing this, as I mentioned, your budget is very important because a lot of the time your budget line item is your GL, it's a general ledger line item. So here I just see I have columns for revenue. I have columns for different projects with different type of expenses. So Weiler Liquid Ice and Weiler South and Weiler North, and also some general administration information expenses here. Then I put it as all together as AP, and then I have a check column. This check column is to make sure all the number ties and don't miss any expenses. And then I will do something like a trial balance here. So this one, as I mentioned it, is a bit look like your budget line item. So let's say if you have budget for like buys for venue, food, travel expenses, you will have it there. And then this will be your GL code. And then I have the summary of a balance sheet on the side here that it all balanced out, and also a P&L. So the P&L is here, and all this information at the bottom of this line here all carry forward to this trial balance transaction column. So it will populate, if everything is good, populate all here. So no more calculation, but I think this is not an easy way for non-accountant to do it. So for non-accountant, I would suggest some software. So the software look like there are different types of software, bookkeeping software. QuickBook is one, Xero is the other, and also Sage Accounting. There are different types of them. So they are very helpful.
Jacqueline, Kathy has a question.
Oh, hi, Kathy.
I'm sorry, Jacqueline, I'm being annoying.
No,
What's your expectation as far as reporting those numbers on a monthly basis, quarterly basis? What is your expectation?
So the best is you can do it monthly, but at least I would say at least quarterly. Monthly is the best because will that get you understand whether there is a hiccup in your bank account or anything. Because sometimes you look at your bank statement, the last month bank statement, but then this month's bank statement has a larger amount that cash out, but this is not what you did. You didn't send out the check, so then that would be a problem. So it's better to do it every month. And for our club, we have financial reporting every month at our board meeting. But I know some smaller club that may not be necessary if they don't have any expenses or revenue for 1 month, but then quarterly at least is required, I would say.
Thank you.
No
Thank you
problem.
for that. Okay.
So yes, QuickBook and Xero. So this is QuickBook. I was supposed I plan to show you some how to did it and how powerful they are, but because of the time, I would say QuickBook is one, and here is the pricing for QuickBook. I just found yeah, so they are not cheap anymore. QuickBook. So usually if you don't need anything, it's just a very simple one. You can pay for $44 per month. And this is per month charge. And or usually most of the people use this $66 one because it gives you the opportunity to put in your budget item. So because not every one of this. So more expensive and more function that you can use. So this is the cost of a QuickBook Online, and Xero is the other one. But Xero looks cheap.
Do QuickBooks have online tutorials, Jacqueline?
Sorry, Gord?
Do QuickBooks have online tutorials?
Oh, yeah, I could. Yes, there are tutorial. You want to have a look at it?
No, it's just for a row of us who are not accountants. We need a little bit of
there are
guidance.
lots of tutorial online.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can show you one page. This is the tutorial. If you look down here, I would say connecting your bank in QuickBook. Oh no, I do have one in here. Yeah, so I was planning to show you this overview of the QuickBook feature. This is from the QuickBook video tutorials. And also, this one is connecting your bank in QuickBook. This is a very powerful feature nowadays on all the online banking software, because you don't need to actually type in one by one transaction. You just have it connected with your bank, and then you will have a list for you to choose from and to assign GL code. So it's just clicks, click, clicks most of the time. It's not typing anymore. And here is just you can see it. This is how when they populated. This is how the P&L looks like. It's very clean, easy to understand. So yeah, I just show. Oh, here is the Xero. Xero is another accounting software. $9, but it didn't give you a lot to do, and $22.50 is another one because they give you some discount, but it's a limited discount to start. And also these guys to start for about 6 months of $29, or about 6 months for $20, and then it's $45 per month. You know what? I just got an email from QuickBook that they are increasing their pricing. So instead of $66 currently, they're going to be $72. It's a 10% increase in the coming May. So these are expensive, but they are powerful. They are useful as well. Okay, so this is my my presentation on all that.
The other important thing about that, I think, is it avoids the problem Kathy's had, that she doesn't have any history to look at in terms of previous years. If you're using QuickBooks or one of the other ones of Sage or whatever, then that information is available and you can store it securely.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how much time you guys have. If you like to stay, I can show you how this works. Because nowadays, all these accounting software, you can take pictures of the account of your receipt, or take an invoice. Just if you receive it in the email, a copy of the invoice, you just upload to this to all these online bookkeeping software. You don't really need to store the paper copies. So everything is in there, including the bank reconciliation. It's very, very useful. Hi, Kathy.
Hey, I'm sorry, Jacqueline, I'm being a pain in the butt. But okay, so I've done some research on this. The Tap, okay, so I'm worried because we're just about to have an event here with the Scotch chasing event. And we have the squares, which kind of do the interact transfers and stuff like that into our account. Now, if we do the tap ones, I researched it to say it's a 2.9% plus $3 per transaction. If people use their debit card, it's only a 1.92% transaction. So I'm kind of going like, okay, give me your guidance. What should we be doing here? In discouraging credit cards, or quite frankly, do we have that choice?
So here, just for example, for our club, so we, for our members, we encourage them to pay by e-transfer. So we set up account like, as you mentioned, you do interact e-transfer as well. We call it a treasurer@richmondrotary.com. So they just, it's an auto deposit. We set it up as auto deposit. So money sent, like you receive your dues, or any other functions, we, in our publication, we always ask people to send by e-transfer for direct deposit into our bank
I
account.
would agree. I would agree. So I'm not worried about the members. I'm worried about the public that's coming to this event.
Yeah. So yeah, one thing is we talk about that too. Like yesterday, we have a Lunar New Year event coming up, or also a Christmas event coming up. How are we going to do that? So we say we use the club runner to do the registration. So your club will be able to do that. And in that registration, we say, please send money to by e-transfer. So we give them 3 options. Please send your fees to this by e-transfer to this email address. And
yes,
also,
I've got that.
And also they can send by check. And the other one is they can pay by credit card. If they are paying by credit card, there is a number that they can call so that we can take the credit card. Or a lot of the time, really a lot of the time, for someone that's not within the club, we will have that facility to Square available on site. So we just take, they just tap and then pay.
Yeah, we don't have the tap ones, but we've got the insert ones. The event's coming up in 2 days, so that's why I'm curious with getting this response from you. So thank you for that.
No problem. I don't know if your club has the IT that's good, that know how to do Square. Once you have an account, setting it up.
We have a Square, but we don't have the ability to do the tap.
I would say today is Wednesday, right? Just give them a call tomorrow. Give Square a call tomorrow to see if this is something that your club didn't set it as available to your club, or your Square is too old and cannot take that.
Okay, I'm writing this all down.
We are recording this, so there will be a recording available afterwards, by the way.
Yeah. So maybe, there's no quick answer for this one at the moment, unless your Square is, you can buy a Square and then transfer your information to the new Square, and you can use it right away with no problem, because you already had the Square account set up.
I just want the tap ability, because I know all these people will be kind of going with the silent auction items, and they're going to be offering their credit cards, and I don't want to refuse them. So
yeah, I understand, totally understand what you mean. And Square is the easiest and the cheapest solution for any fundraising event now. Just like we use that all the time. Several years we use it already.
So Jacqueline, in your expertise, is the square that I've got that just shows an insert, and I'm not trying to be, I'm not techie. So is it different from a square that would have a tap opportunity?
Give me 1 second. I show you how my tab look like.
Thank you, thank you. Because I just want to make sure I'm producing the right vehicle to do that.
Sure.
Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry
That's what we're here
to,
for, Kathy.
but we're 2 days from this event and I'm going like, I'm panicking. So I'm just going, wow, what am I gonna do if somebody comes up with a credit card?
Said at the beginning, it's a
So
stupid
this is
question.
the
This
one.
is-
It's very tiny.
Okay, I've got that. Okay, I've got that.
Yeah, so I don't know whether your square is the same as this one.
It looks very similar, Jacqueline, and I'm sorry to bog down your time with this call, with this question.
Yeah, not a problem. This is the purpose of this call, right? So we are sharing experience. I want to share with you, this is what it looks like. It's just that small.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
very small. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
I've
whether
got
you have
that.
the same one. Yeah, you see
Yeah.
how it's cheap, only $59.
Oh, we might not have purchased that one. Okay, so anyways, I'm talking to our IT specialist and he's saying we can only insert the card. We can't tap on it.
Yeah, you
Wait.
see, do you see the tab logo here?
Yeah, I get it. Okay,
Mhm. So what I would say is you just go and buy one. You can get it from Staples.
oh yeah, but up here in our community, we're pretty remote.
Under
So
Harvard.
that's
Oh, no,
not
no
that
problem. You
easy.
can have it shipped to you.
Get
you know?
Ian to pick it up on his way through the ferry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Or you order it from Staples online. They can ship it to you.
Okay, I
It's
just
not a
want to
problem
make
at
sure
all.
I'm ordering the right thing, but it might be too late because we're 2 days from the event. So,
Yeah, you have to buy a new one. That's hard.
Jan,
Yeah,
Jan,
I'm just
you're
trying to
going to
make
this
it-
event, right, Jan? So you can bring your square down, right, Jan?
No, I'm not going to that event. I'm going to the Sunshine Coast Seashell thing on Saturday night.
You know
Yeah,
what? The other
there's three
thing,
events on the
yeah,
lower
you know
coast.
what? There's 2 functions being held on the coast here, and we're kind of like, okay, but thank you, Jacqueline. It's great. I got great learnings from this conversation. We need to get a different kind of square that allows us to tap it.
yeah, if you need to talk a little bit more, just send me an email and we can meet on Zoom for another time.
Thank
Just you and me.
Okay.
I can answer your question.
I'm learning so much from this call, so I appreciate this.
No problem. So that is the end of my presentation. Back to you, Peter.
Well, it's open forum for you and Gord to respond to questions and have discussion. So has anyone got any other topic that they'd like to bring up or follow up on something earlier?
Just on the registered society thing, we have a potential large donation coming to our club from an estate, but the tax implications is we're not a registered society. So, and I understand the district isn't a registered society either. So would it be untoward or whatever if the money was sent to another clubs, just throwing one out there, Vancouver Rotary Club, they send the funds to us?
What's the purpose of the donation, Bill?
To support a Rotary community project.
A Rotary community project?
Yeah.
Okay, because the Rotary Foundation, I mean, ultimately it doesn't fit what they're asking you to do, but that's where we use Rotary Foundation.
Yeah, it's like $100,000. So
yeah.
you used to live here and it's just,
Yeah.
liked his time here, but they want to do it properly for tax purposes.
Is the project part of a foundation project, Bill?
No, we're just that we don't even have a project set up yet. They just reached out to me and just said, "Hey, this is what's happened. My dad's passed, and he
Yeah.
liked his time up in Rupert, and
Okay.
here's the money, or we have money potentially coming there." And I'm just batting around the idea of a band shell in Rupert, so
Right.
use that and then matching grants and stuff to get it up to like 400,000.
Yeah, there are several clubs who have societies, Bill, and a lot of them is doing Rotary service or Rotary work is in their constitutional bylaws. And
Okay.
so it may fit that, but as long as it's not area specific. So like if this, I'll use Richmond, Stevenson has a society. We did this for the BC wildfires and BC floods. And so they were able to use these funds to redirect them to that cause.
Okay.
And they have a very general definition of what that means. I know Gord's Club also has a society as well. So there are societies around. I know that Arbutus has had one, Vancouver has one, Richmond has one. So we're getting growing use, but we're probably around 30% of clubs have societies.
Yeah, I would say it's not to be too late to set up a society. If you're expecting some large donation like that.
Just a one-off there, so I'm not really inclined.
Oh, okay, yeah, if it's just one-off, probably it's too much work to
Yeah.
maintain a society for your club.
Okay. All right, so it does sound like that is a possibility to do that, is to route it through another club so that the
Sure.
funder can get the proper tax benefits to it.
Yeah, the one that's been used most recently is the Stevenson Club. And they've been used for the fires, the forest fires, for the floods, and Ukraine and all sorts of things. So they were a very smooth process for doing that. So you have a word with the treasurer there or the president at Stevenson.
Okay. Good. Okay. No, if no, that did. Okay, I feel good about it.
You know what? Our club is
So
very
the-
strict.
So the question I
So-
have,
Sorry,
really
Kathy.
the question,
Sorry, Kathy. Jan had a question.
I'm sorry.
I think Gord already answered it, Peter. So, in Bill's case, should this come up with other, areas? I mean, good for Prince Rupert. Should they be contacting the finance committee chair for the district to find out what clubs are available, or would they immediately contact the treasurer or the district governor? Like, what would be the,
Did you not do a review of that last year, Lauren, as to which clubs had foundations?
On my visits, I did get conversations because quite often they're confusing. People that stop giving foundations often is because they're giving to another foundation. And
Right.
so we're finding this happy medium on recognition programs and 50-50 and 33, because it's the conversation. But when I went around, I did find out a good chunk of them. The ones that didn't disclose the societies, we didn't really find out.
Yeah. Okay.
no, I'm just wondering, if there's some way that we can, have a list or have, a point person in district who can, when something like this comes up, they're not busy trying to call different people in the district to find out who to ask and who to get that information. Because as you say, the Stevenson Club stepped up to do all the stuff for the wildfires, and that worked really well. So that's something we should keep in mind. Thanks.
Yeah.
I just want to say that when you have a society, you have to be very careful. CRA is behind you all the time. So for our club, we are very careful in doing that, because the club president is a legal profession right now. Not the club head president, is the society president, is the legal profession right now. So every time when we try to do something like that, so if something is not for our club, we will not do it for someone else, because according to CRA, that's not right. I just want to say that.
Kathy, you had a question?
Well, it kind of leads into the previous person who kind of said the same thing I was going to say. I'm about to create checks for the Ukraine, for the American Red Cross, on behalf of our club, the PH Rotary Club, for in the amount of almost $2,000. Is this kind of, I guess I'm being naive in my question with understanding what the club's motives are. Is this kind of okay? Or is
Well,
this something that
well,
needs
well,
to be approved from higher ups or
But
whatever?
where's the money going to? Are you saying the money is going to the Red Cross for
Yeah,
Ukraine?
the Red Cross, Canadian Red Cross,
Well, they should be able to issue a CRA
for the
receipt.
efforts of the Ukraine,
Yeah.
it's being explicit to the Ukraine. And that's where the money has been raised against, from our community. And, but I'm just worried that, are we all working to the same, are we beating to the same drum?
And Kathy, ultimately the Red Cross had a matching where that's gone way past now. And we are working on a global grant for Ukraine. And the purpose for that is to give it to a Rotary village and try to provide housing for peoples in the city of Moshun. And I really do believe that's the next level of global grants that are going to be looked at for the Ukraine. The Red Cross, bluntly, has had a mediocre track record in Ukraine. For instance, I'll tell you that they did some camps and they put it on the Russian side of the Ukrainian border. Think about that. So I struggle with that one. But having said that, they did great work in Moldova and in Romania and other places. Shelter Box, personally, has done a better job on the ground with some warm things. In fact, we're working on a project for thermal underwear. And because they don't have hydro brownouts and stuff like that. And so there's a bigger purpose of giving them winter clothing and stuff like that so they can survive the winters if they can't get back their heating. So I would personally, I don't know who to talk to at your club, but I probably would have a one-on-one conversation with them and tell them to rethink that.
Okay, so are you suggesting, so what I'm hearing you say is maybe I don't mail these checks to the Red Cross of Canada, or Canadian Red Cross of Canada, and mail them to somebody else within the Rotary Club that could benefit from it better.
Well, let me talk to your president first, because ultimately this is a board decision and they've made this decision already, then it's a fait accompli.
And they're telling me, the president is telling me, just mail the checks,
Yep.
which I'm cool. I'm not trying to create havoc here. But my goal is to make sure that the Rotary Club is being represented appropriately, overall.
Who are the checks payable to, Kathy? Are they payable to your club or what?
No, it's payable to the Canadian Red Cross of Canada.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to stir up the pot. I'm just trying to make sure that the Rotary Club is getting credit for this. And I've been told, and I called the Red Cross Society. They said, just make sure it's to the Ukraine fund or whatever on the back of the check. And so I'm preparing those checks with signatures from our president and another elect. But I just want to make sure that we're all kind of, doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. If the checks are made payable to the Red Cross, then the Red Cross is going to get credit for it.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit difficult for us to put our hand up and say, oh, no, we really did it. So excuse me, the checks don't say that.
So Gordon, Jacqueline, we're at 8:30 now. I guess if there's any other question to follow up, they could send them to you or to you via me, or somehow get them afterwards. So please send them in. and Jacqueline or Gord can respond.
Yeah, or
All right.
Lauren, if it's something to do with the foundation side like that, that's fine.
Yeah, Lauren, of course, yeah.
We can get a subject matter expert on whatever aspect that we need to look at.
So anyway, well, thank you all very much for participating in this discussion. Quite a lot came out of it. And as Gord points out, it's recorded, and we'll have that to you, a link to that as soon as possible. And if you're talking to anyone, there's also Saturday morning at 9, same session. So thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks for
Good night.
putting this
Thanks, everyone. Good night.